Alright, welcome everybody. So I think today we're going to do a comparison between the updated version of the Knipex Pliers wrench and the previous version. A couple months ago they came out with this new version. Most of the changes are cosmetic in nature, but there are some functional changes that I'll get into, and also some things you need to know about the part numbers for the old and new versions. So first thing that they did is they added the black oxide version of the pliers wrench. So previously you could only get it in the chrome finish. So now, just like the Cobras, you can get them in both versions. Chroming something is going to be more expensive than this black oxide finish, so they may have tried to get the cost down a little bit, but it does require some more maintenance on this version. You have to make sure you oil it if you're using it in a very damp location. So one of the first things that they advertise about this is that it is much lighter. So if we look at the old version, we are at 535 grams, and the new version 458 grams. So now you're probably asking, how did they make this lighter? Well, it looks like they removed some material in a couple of key places. The first place is right here, right above the handles. If you look at a side-by-side profile there, you can see they kind of removed a bunch of material to put this this pattern here, this gripping pattern, and it's much more evident on the top side right in here. So it does feel like that does extend down into the handles as well. You can see right here there's a little bit of material taken out there, so that level of thickness is not evident in the new version. The other place where it looks like they took some material out is up here around where the jaws are. So while the width of the end portion of the jaws looks to be about the same, you can see on the new version they took out this material right here. Looks like about maybe an inch or 25 millimeters in. They took out material on both sides there. And it does look like this piece right here is a little bit thinner on the new version. I'm sure the engineers know what they're doing. They probably did some additional analysis and found that they over-engineered this and felt that they could take some material off without sacrificing the overall load capacity of the new pliers. So the biggest functional difference in these pliers is noted right here. You'll see that the new ones say 52 millimeters, 2 inches, and the old ones say 46 millimeters, 1 3/4 inches. So we added about 6 millimeters or 1/4 inch of capacity on the new version. And you can see here the new version does open slightly more than the old version does. So it looks like to add that larger capacity, they had to change the way that the handles kind of come together here. So in the old version, they were much closer together, went at that max capacity. In the new version, much further apart. I'm not sure I like that. If we move them so they're the same size now, it's a little bit more evident. The new ones require a much wider grip than these old ones. And yeah, even in the totally closed position, you can tell that in order to get that extra capacity, they had to change some angles on this piece right here. So I'm not really sure how I feel about that yet. I need to kind of use it a little bit and see how it feels, but that was kind of odd that they made that kind of design change. So as far as I know, you can't buy the old, once they run out of stock, you won't be able to buy this old version anymore. So the next thing you'll see here, one thing they added was some laser etching on there to show the size. And they didn't include every size. Looks like they skipped quite a few numbers, but they probably just included the sizes that they needed. So it looks like right now I have it on 37, but I'm measuring just a little bit short of 37. It's probably close enough. So same with, it looks like I got 32 shown now, and I'm measuring a little bit under 31. So I'm not really sure that that's doing what people expect it to do. I have the feeling that that's going to get ignored pretty fast. And on the other side, you have the units in imperial or inch marks. So now let's talk about part numbers. As I mentioned before, this is a new version with the black finish. And one thing I have been noticing anytime Knipex comes out with a new product, they seem to prefer using these non-slip grip plastic coated handles. It's my experience that I tend not to like these as much. I like these kind of dipped versions. So I just find that these feel like they get contaminated. That's what I find with these basically, or it's like wiping down a counter. Nothing really absorbs into these kind of dipped plastic handles on the old one. So if you want these dipped ones, you're gonna have to go with one of the old part number models. The other issue with part numbers is a little bit more serious. They recycled the old part number, so if you go and order this part number, you don't know if you're going to get the old version or the new version. If I order this part number, it's going to be chromed with these type of handles, but it may be the new or old version, depending on what your distributor's stock is. And you know, I'm sure they have their reasons for doing that. It probably is to protect their distributors, because what they would have to do is essentially discontinue this model, bring out a new part number, and then everybody who had stock of this part number would probably have to put it on clearance or some kind of sale or something to get rid of the stock. There's going to be people who are going to order a lot of these, maybe 5 or so, and they could possibly get 3 of one type and 2 of the other. If it just happens to be at that particular time they run out of the old stock. But we'll have to see what becomes of that. I guess once they finally run out of the old ones, it's not an issue. It is just a tool, so it's not critical if you get the old or the new version. You're still going to be able to get the job done. It's really would be about personal preference at that point. And in terms of functionality, yeah, they do perform the same function as expected. There is a little bit of a different feel on the handles because you have to open those new ones a little bit wider. So it definitely does feel different. I think it's something that would be pretty easy to get used to. So I don't think that that's really a deal breaker for anybody. Alright guys, well that's going to wrap up this little informal comparison between the old and the new Knipex Pliers wrenches. If you absolutely want the new version, the only way at this time to guarantee that would be to order one of these newer part numbers. So this one right here is the 8601250, and this one right here is the 8603250. So just keep that in mind for the near future, but I assume that once they run out of this stock, they'll all have this new style. Alright, well I think that's going to wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and catch you guys next time.